it's okay. Because right now when we apply the brakes, we're even going to lose more air pressure. But before you do that, just tell them, okay, look, hey, it leaks some air, it's stabilized, it's not leaking anymore, it already stopped. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with my air brake test. And the step one, the first thing that I'm going to do is I need to start checking this truck for air leaks. The way that I'm going to check for air leaks is I'm going to hold the service brake down for 1 minute. While I'm holding it for that 1 minute, I'm going to be looking at the air pressure gauge to make sure, and this is where it's going to depend if you're here for the A license or the B license. If you're here for the A license, it's a truck and trailer. Within the 1 minute, I got to make sure that I don't lose more than 4 psi or 4 pounds of pressure. If you're here for the Class B, you're going to tell them I should not lose more than 3 psi or 3 pounds of pressure. So now that we told them what we're going to do, put your foot on the brake, look at the needle, you're going to see that it's going to drop. We dropped about 3 pounds. Hold it. Remember, don't push it all the way. Just put your foot on it. If you push it all the way, I got more than 150 pounds of pressure here. Remember, these hoses are regulated for 150. Anything else? Look what we're doing. We're forcing the air out of it because I was putting almost maybe 200 pounds of pressure on it. You just put your foot. You hear the brake supply, right? That's all you got to do. It's just a slight push on the brakes. Needle move. Boom, you hit the timer right there where it stopped. Right now it's showing me about 89, 90. Okay. 1 minute. Nothing less than a minute, guys. Stare here, look here, look there, look here. Back and forth for the whole minute. If it's a minute, okay, look, it's been 1 full minute. I'm going to go ahead and release the brake. As you can see, I did not lose more than the 3 or 4 pounds, whatever you told them. So that means that this truck does not have any air leaks, which is what I was checking for. Number 2, now I have to make sure that the low air warning light is working. That it does turn on before the needle on the air pressure gauge reaches 60 pounds of pressure. So the way that I'm going to check this, I'm going to start pumping on the service brake, and that light has to come on before the needle reaches 60. So you just start pumping. Low air. Clearly tells you right there, guys. A big old light that says low air. And this truck even has an alarm to let you know too. You look over here, 63 pounds. So that's working, right? So that was number 2. My low air light is working. It came on before 60. Number 3. Now I'm going to make sure that the emergency brakes or that the spring brakes on this truck are working correctly. And the way that I'm going to check those is by continuing to pump on the service brake. And what should happen here is that both of the parking brake buttons or valves need to pop out by themselves. And they need to pop up somewhere in between 20 and 45 pounds of pressure on the air pressure gauge. We told them, stare at the buttons. That's what we got to make sure pops out, right? Pop. Keep going because only one has popped. 2 pop. Look at it. About 29. So it's in between 20 and 45. So as you can see, the spring brakes or emergency brakes are working correctly on this truck. At this point, now I'm done. Once you cover everything, guys, and you tell them what you're doing here real quick, most of you guys tend to make the mistake here on the air brake or the parking brake test. Reason why is because when you're doing the parking brake test, you tell them, hey, look, I'm going to do the tug test. I'm going to make sure that I put the brake, take one off. I'm going to try to move it, tug on it, make sure that it don't move. What did I just call it?
Tug test.
Is that the name of it?
No.
It's a parking brake test, right?
Parking brake test.
See? So because some videos they just say, hey, I'm going to do a tug test. And that's the mistake there. It's not a tug test, it's a parking brake test. Parking brake for the truck, parking brake for the trailer. When I was doing the air brake test, some of y'all just go up and say, hey, look, Class A, so I'm just going to make sure that I don't lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute. Why though? What are we checking?
The leaks.
So if you don't say leaks, you just say, I'm just going to make sure I don't lose more than 4 pounds. Well, why though? Because I'm making sure that this truck doesn't have any leaks. That's the why there, and that's why you fail, because you failed to tell them that. Same thing with the low air warning light. I have to make sure the low air warning lights are on. I got to make sure the emergency brakes. You don't just tell them, hey, now I just got to make sure that the buttons pop out at between 20 and 45. Because if you're not telling them, because that's the way that you check for the spring brakes or the emergency brakes, it's just in the wording, guys, that you leave some of this stuff out. So make sure you tell them what you're doing and why real quick. And that would be the full truck and trailer. If you get the A, the B, or the C, like I was telling you, it's just certain sections. There were sections.
3 point.
3 points. I did 3 points. All the way to there. But yeah, guys, so. Any questions, anybody?
When you gonna do a DVD, bro?